So when I was like 16 or 17 years old, I actually had the police knock on my door Monday morning. I had just waken up and I heard someone knock on the door, like, who's knocking on the door on a Monday morning? So I looked out the window and I saw the police knocking at my door. And my parents knew nothing about my smoking weed habits. So I ran up to my room and I found everything that I've had of weed and of like paper, smoking papes and bong and whatever, and I tried to throw it out the window, and just I heard them coming up towards my room, and I just sat there on my bed just pretending like nothing, and why are you here? And that was maybe one of the worst days of my life. And I remember I just sat there at the breakfast table with my parents, and they suspected nothing of me, and they thought I was a really good boy, got good grades and did everything right. And I just sat there and they thought, well, you haven't done anything, so there's no reason to stress. And that just made me feel so bad. Like, I tricked them all this time. I lived a fake life for like 1 year, where every day after dinner I'd gone out to meet friends and smoke weed. And I also often sat at the dinner table like totally stoned, but I was really good at covering it up. So the worst thing, it wasn't really getting caught by the police or by my parents. The worst thing was hearing that sentence from my parents, that you haven't done anything wrong, so there's nothing to be afraid of. And I felt so rotten and fucking terrible, because I've been a shit person to the people who care the most about me. I had just totally lied to them, to the point where even when the police came to my house to find shit and to catch me for smoking weed, which is fucked up that the police is coming anyway, but yeah, that my parents didn't even think that I was smoking then, and just the feeling of having lied to them this way felt so rotten. You would think that would help. After I felt so bad and I was forced to piss in a cup, you would think that I'd stop smoking weed. After half a year of going without smoking a single joint, going to the police station and pissing in a fucking cup every week, getting like caught from the police. I was kind of on probation for some shit. You would think that would help me stop smoking weed. But the day after the last pissing, guess what I celebrated with? So after this period, I actually started smoking more. I started smoking like 2-3 times a day. It didn't help. And even though I knew that I kind of wanted to stop, I just automatically began smoking weed again. Even though I'd been in so much trouble, deceived my parents, felt terrible, I still kept on smoking weed, and I knew that it didn't make my life go in the right direction. I knew that like smoking weed makes you paranoid. It gave me kind of social anxiety, made me lose confidence, made me lose so much time and progression in many areas of my life. But I just kept on smoking until one day I gotten a bit into meditation and reading, and one day I read a book called The Celestine Prophecy, which has nothing to do with weed at all. Nothing at all whatsoever. It's about energy and how to cultivate energy from within. And it just truly hit me that smoking weed is kind of fucking up my life. That I'm not being the best version of myself. I'm not being the most fun, the most confident, the most social, and the most energetic. I'm not being my true self. Like, my personality isn't truly being conveyed to the world, because it's like this filter between me and the world when I'm smoking weed every day. Whenever you watch a nice place or watch a good movie, if you're a weed addict, you'll always think that this would be better with smoking weed. If you're having sex, like, this would be better if I'm high. Like, your brain gets totally fucked up, and you're not living a true life anymore, because you always need this outer substance, and it's ruining your personality. It's ruining who you really are. So you don't truly get to fully convey who you are to the world. And in the long run, this is what I thought for myself. It will not help me go in the right direction. It will not actually help me create the dream life for myself. So I just stopped. I just totally, just from realizing something within myself, I just stopped. Nothing external. Like I read in a book and went a bit in myself, and then I stopped. And since then, I don't even drink a lot, but I've smoked maybe sometimes when I'm totally drunk, which does not happen often. Or maybe like on a very, very, very rare occasion when I actually believe like it's probably good. Like the experience actually made me feel good, and that's like once every 4th month or something like that. So I don't believe in any external motivation. I don't believe that there's any tactic that can force you to stop smoking. With any change that you want to make in your life, you just have to realize why. You have to realize your desire and then just really feel that desire. And it has to become a need. It has to become a must for you. A must. Like I don't want to change. I don't need to change. I must change, and I will just make the change. Because you come to this place in yourself where you realize that this is fucking up your life. It has to come totally from within. It's not a bad thing that you're addicted to weed. You've only wasted a lot of time and energy, like dedicated to this, that you could have dedicated to a lot of other things, like for example, building yourself up into the best version of yourself, building a business, developing something for yourself. But that's gone now. Your weed habit isn't actually bad. It's just a symbol of your desire to want to create a different life, create something greater for yourself, because you realize that, well, this normal life that everyone is living is quite boring and it's not really a life worth living. Like most people are just walking around as robots, and you don't want to do that. You want something more out of life. You want to experience a different reality. And this desire is wonderful. And if you cultivate this desire in the right direction, it will create wonderful things for you. So do not try to demolish your desire for smoking weed. It is a good desire. So that's why quitting smoking weed does not work. Because the desire which is there to create something good, to create something, experience a different type of life, a different type of reality, that desire is good. And never ever should you try to extinct that desire. This is the desire that you really need to grow in your life. But you just need to realize that to cultivate the desire in the right direction does not mean to smoke weed. It means to use this desire to create your dream life and to experience the spiritual realms of reality, like to dive deeper into your passions, your interests, to dive deeper into meditation, journaling, visualization, spiritual aspects of the universe, because that's what you're seeking really. Also, another thing that you're probably seeking, because weed is very feminine energy, you've probably blocked out feminine energy in your life. And that's another reason that you really need to smoke weed. Do you really think if you have a truly loving woman who you have a wonderful connection with, that you'll want to and need to smoke so much weed? It's just a replacement for not feeling like truly feminine energy in your life. So don't try to kill the desire, just develop it in the right direction and focus on becoming a better version of yourself and living a real life. Don't live through this filter and this fake reality where small things seems interesting because you're stoned. Instead, try to create your life into something wonderful where you actually just get high from living your dream life, because all you've worked for is now come true. That's the best high. That's a much better high. Or having a really wonderful connection with a woman who you truly love. That's a way, 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 way better high than smoking a fucking joint. Don't try to kill the desire. Just focus on developing it into something else, with achieving your goals and with exploring the spiritual realms of reality, and also get this feminine energy, which is what you're really seeking, from your dream woman instead, and focus on attracting her. If you want help with quitting this weed addict, you can book a call from the link in the description and we'll help you quit this habit forever. Thank you.